Hi everyone, it's Fiona here from FionaMarks.com, and I am back today with sharing themes from a reading. This is a bit of a summary of someone who's come for a reading and is happy to share some of the main themes from their chart, and it's here to give you an idea of the kind of things that might come up in your own session if you come for a reading with me. So it gives you a bit of a sense of the kind of things that I would cover or the way I approach astrology. So let's have a share the screen moment here. Wonderful. So we have now in front of us on the right hand side our Vedic astrology chart. And just to refresh our memories, because it's been a little while since we did one of these, in the South Indian chart, this box here is always Aries, then Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, all the way around, just like normal. And then the numbers here on the PowerPoint represent the houses, and the letters are going to represent planets, or in this case, important points. So we have here a Taurus ascendant. The ascendant is in Taurus. Then we have a nice big swathe of sky with no stars in it. Then Jupiter and the moon together in the 5th house in Virgo. Venus and Ketu together in the 6th house in Libra. Mercury in the 7th house of Scorpio. The Sun in the 8th house, Sagittarius. Mars exalted in Capricorn, the 9th house. Bit of space of sky, and then in the 12th house, Saturn with Rahu. So before we even look at the summary, let's just zoom out a little bit and see how the overall shape of the chart is. And we notice that space of sky in the 1, 2, 3, 4 first 4 houses. We've got a Taurus ascendant, so we know that this person's ascendant lord is Venus, and we can see that Venus is in the 6th house. So for all Taurus ascendants, there is a yoga between the first lord and the 6th lord because they're ruled by the same planet. In this chart, that's emphasized even more because we have Venus also in its own home in the 6th house. The planets are generally quite happy in the dignities that they are in this chart. As we noticed that Mars is exalted in Capricorn, Jupiter is in Sun is in its friend sign here. So lots of happy placements, although we do also notice that Saturn is debilitated in Aries. And we know that Saturn is a really strong, solid planet for a Taurus ascendant because Saturn rules the 9th and 10th houses for all Taurus ascendants. So this will definitely be felt. However, we must note we've got Venus in its own home, Mars exalted, and many happy, comfortable placements here along the bottom row. Okay, so what are some of the main themes that would have come up in a reading of this chart? I think one of the things we can point to straight away is that this chart is marked by the emphasis on the Rahu Ketu hero journey. For those of you guys who have watched my video about Rahu and Ketu with the hero's journey, you can see that it's emphasized in this chart because we have Rahu with a planet and in the 9th and 10th lord, so really important planet. And we've got Ketu with the ascendant lord, so another important planet in the chart. So we know that the Rahu Ketu journey is going to be important. The first lord Venus is with Ketu, and that is marking that it's beginning a theme that we see in the chart where this person may feel a sense of dissatisfaction with the material world. And we're going to talk about this through the themes of this summary chart because Ketu is pointing to the territory that we've already conquered, and that we will not be receiving much satisfaction from that. We've already reaped all of our rewards in that area. So the person may feel that in that sixth house of the material world, that they don't necessarily feel that sense of reward or achievement. And also Rahu is with Saturn, which we spoke about, so it's emphasizing how strong this journey is. Rahu is actually the current Dasha Lord, and this person is having their Dasha period, the Rahu Dasha period, during their main adult life. So I always think that that emphasizes one's hero journey as well. And this is, of course, the classic placement for our hero journey. If you've watched that video, we talked about how nuanced astrology is in sharing with us unique insights into our own hero journey. And this placement is more that classic placement because Ketu is saying there in the sixth house that we need to let go of our obsession with work in the material world, that we do our tasks. That's important to complete all of our work here, but that we're not going to gain any satisfaction from that, or any ego from that, or any identification from that. So it is the hero journey encouraging us to let go of the sixth house material experience and go towards Rahu, the 12th house of liberation and moksha. And in the hero's journey, it's that final step in our hero's path. So we are already beginning to see a theme that this person is going to be encouraged by their hero journey to perhaps let go of the mundane and embrace the spiritual, or the expansive, or the reality that is beyond. And so if we take this to that Star Wars, the hero journey that I grew up with, we've got Luke Skywalker. They're on a farm or something in whatever moon or where it is that he lives. And he can tell that he's dissatisfied with that kind of existence. He has no enthusiasm for taking over his uncle's farm and being a successful worker for the rest of his life. And he's inspired by the sky and dreaming of the sky and looking up to the sky, and all of those trials and battles that are happening, the big power struggles that are happening. So that's the classic hero journey story, from humble beginnings in a material world to an adventure that leads you to liberation. So this placement does echo the classic hero journey story. And also by sign, it's telling us something a little bit different, bringing in attention into the chart that is also validated by other factors. And that is that Ketu is in Libra, indicating that one has conquered the territory of being diplomatic and being considered and weighing up judgments, and taking each step after much, equalizing of all of the information. And with Rahu in Aries, Rahu is going to do its best to encourage this person to take a bold step, to step out and be a leader, to be out on their own, to find their own path, to walk their own path. So there's a nice tension there between the safe route and the more adventurous or impulsive route. So this person may feel, as they feel a dissatisfaction with material life and what it's all about, they may also find that as much as they would like to consider everything and balance everything and be very wise, that there's something about their calling that gets them to step off into the unknown and to strike out on their own path, even though they might be the kind of person who might like to work behind the scenes. So some tension with that placement, and mixing with the natural 12th house being a little bit hidden. So creative tension. All right, let's look at some other themes. There's a strong theme in this chart around effort, struggle, work, whatever you want to call that toil that we do. And that is started off straight away by the first lord being in the 6th house of toil. And for this is, there's going to be this theme for all Taurus ascendants to some extent. And when I first met this person, we had a lovely exchange that we didn't realize was about astrology. And she said something to me like, I share with my children that, life is a series of obstacles to be overcome. And I had said to her, yes, I always think that you just never know what's going to happen in life. And I thought this was a beautiful exchange. It's quite spontaneous, where I was sharing my 1-8 combination in my chart that so therefore for me, life and unexpected events just go together beautifully. And she was sharing her life experience, which was life and obstacles, which is what the 6th house is, go together. And one can see that as a Taurus ascendant, one learns to overcome obstacles. It's a wonderful ascendant for building courage and finding our resilience, because we see life through this focus that there are things to be overcome. And then we have this beautiful, normally we love to see Jupiter and the moon together, and obviously they're very happy there, and they are supporting one another there. However, they're ruling for Taurus ascendants, they rule some challenging houses, and we've got Moon ruling the 3rd house, we've got Jupiter ruling the 8th and the 11th house. So there's a lot of argy-bargy. I don't know if that's too an Australian expression, but, a lot of jostling for energy and what I want and my direction. And it involves the moon and emotions. So it's beautiful planets that are helpful in the chart and helpful to all, but in this house there may be some frustration, impulsiveness, trying too hard, wanting things to move ahead, or because we've got the 3rd house and the 11th house are both those houses of goals and aspirations, but they're about me, they're what I want in my life and what I aspire to, what I dream of. And anytime we have those egoic houses, they just naturally, ego being what it is, they just naturally rub up against things and perhaps leaders or forces, or use a bit too much will sometimes. And then it's with the 8th lord of sudden breaks and changes, Jupiter also being that. So that's adding to the impulsiveness there. So for Taurus ascendants, Jupiter and Moon are more difficult planets to work with, and they're ruling more difficult houses, and now they're together. And they're together in the 5th house of the legacy that one is creating or one is leaving behind. So this person may feel that they're always struggling around their legacy, and that wanting to express myself through that house, in that egoic expression of who I am and what I came here to do in the 5th house of legacy. Of course, it's also our children, and so we might find like 8th lord with the 5th, perhaps some sudden or acute illnesses for the children, something unexpected. So that is going on in the 5th house. However, we must say that is going to make legacy and children very important to this person. And so as much as there's what I'm calling argy-bargy, it's going to be very important, very energized. And Jupiter and Moon, it must be said, are both, benefics, although the Moon here is in a waning position. But both friends, Jupiter has a natural affinity with the 5th house, as it represents creativity and children, which Jupiter is an indicator for. So there's definitely very good things about this placement, but there might be some rub with it as well. Now, we've already spoken about Ketu is in that 6th house of work and toil, and it is there to create disappointment. Ketu is a separating factor, and I heard a beautiful analogy over Christmas that helped me understand Ketu, which is a little bit like how we feel when we've unwrapped all of the presents after Christmas. In the days leading up to Christmas, as those boxes go under the tree, there's this anticipation and we're imagining what it is. And then when we open them up and all the wrapping is there and the whole thing is done and it took 5 minutes and, it's stuff and, it's good, but it's kind of a bit unsatisfying. And Ketu is a little bit like that. We will have those presents to unwrap, but we just maybe won't feel so satisfied with them. So, and when Ketu is with Venus, the goddess of worldly delights, we may feel like Luke Skywalker, that we're just not satisfied by those, even though we'd like to be, and other people are, and we get it. It's just not quite enough. And then Rahu is up there with Saturn. And when Rahu and Saturn are together, they're a kind of strange combination because Saturn's very cautious and would never want to take risks because it would expose Saturn's flaws, of which Saturn is well aware. And Rahu just wants to get things done, and it's happening here in this sign of Aries. So we've got kind of Rahu and Aries with the finger on the red button, and then we've got Saturn in the 12th house kind of hidden, trying to keep these things to the self and trying to be cautious. So there's definitely tension there, and how it can manifest is taking away stability in our life, taking away security, all those things that Saturn would like. And also that consistent, taking away that consistent forward progress that Saturn makes. He's slow, but he always gets there. And Rahu is going to interrupt that consistency by being impulsive. So those were kind of the themes that show that this chart, following on from that hero journey, is really asking this person to question their satisfaction with the material world and inspire them towards what is effort really for? What is work really for? What is struggle really for? What are obstacles really for? And lead them towards perhaps spiritual answers to that question, because you'll notice there's quite a lot of stimulation to the moksha houses in this chart. We've got Sun, a strong planet in anybody's chart, rules the 4th house, and it's in the 8th house of moksha, of this investigation, of psychology, of the conjugal bond, or the intimacy between two people. So we've got a moksha combination here, 4th lord in the 8th house, and then we've got the 12th house being stimulated by having Rahu there, making liberation and evolution important or interesting, enticing to this person. Plus the Lord of the 12th house of liberation is exalted in the 9th house of purpose. So all of that questioning that we're just talking about, what are obstacles for, what is work for, what is toil for, you can see how the chart is kind of also trying to feed at the same time some energy to that spiritual liberation, exploration. Okay, obviously in this chart, there are also strong indications for living in foreign lands or traveling, because when we are thinking about those things, we like to look at the third house of short journeys, the seventh house of, the other place, the ninth house of long journeys, and the 12th house of distant lands. And we see quite a lot of stimulation for that. We have here got the seventh Lord in the ninth house. So Mars rules Scorpio, and it's there in the ninth house, linking two houses to do with travel. It's exalted, so it's going to doubly or nicely emphasize those. Could be related to a partner because it's bringing in the seventh house, and it could be related to or interfere with higher education because this ninth house, seventh house, something about the partner, higher education, and travel or living in foreign lands could all get mixed together there. And then we also have the ninth Lord, Saturn, in the 12th house. So another indication for living in foreign lands or living in distant lands, or one's life taking place in distant lands. And then the final thing, which in some ways is what we've all been talking about, the whole theme of this chart is around life purpose. And of course, we can understand why this is important for the chart. We've got an exalted planet in the ninth house of purpose, and we've got Saturn, the ruler, here with Rahu. So let's go through the dot points, otherwise I'm going to get ahead of myself. Okay, Saturn is the ninth Lord. Saturn's such a powerful planet for a Taurus Ascendant because it rules a natural Raja Yoga. That is, it rules the ninth house and the 10th house. So it's where a Taurus feels a strong sense of purpose and call to action. But at the same time, of course, Saturn is slower than other planets. It takes longer than other planets, and it, sees the worst in itself, or is critical of itself, or definitely not comfortable with that it would be successful or that it would be glowing, sparkling. It just doesn't see itself in that way. So one, as a Taurus Ascendant, can feel that one's purpose is taking a long time to happen, or that one hasn't achieved in that area. We mentioned it's already the 10th Lord, but as well as that, it is in this chart in Aries where Saturn is feels the most vulnerable, because Aries is the spotlight of being out on your own and being a leader. And yet that's what's going to make Saturn the most uncomfortable. However, what I have noticed with these kind of planetary placements is it really calls the attention of the person to that area of their life. So where the person's planet is in the least comfortable place in the sky, that lack of comfort actually calls the attention of the person and draws it even more into their awareness. So they can become quite driven to address that. It can be a real theme for their life. The Dasha Lord, interestingly, the main Dasha Lord from 2023 is going to be Saturn. So this is something where not only the person may feel just naturally as a Taurus Ascendant that why is it taking so long for me to feel a sense of purpose, or that I'm doing my purpose? Could be also that not only is it Saturn that we know is slow, but the Dasha Lord timing hasn't come yet, but is imminent. And then not only that, but because Rahu is there, it's saying, hurry, 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 let's do this. I'm excited. I want to do it. I don't know what it is, but we have to do it. So it gives one a sense that one is running late and one should do something about it. Now, also, so I think that there's definitely an emphasis of finding one's life purpose is going to be a huge theme in this person's mind. And they're going to feel that they're taking too long to do that. but they must recognize that the dasha timing is only just coming up, and that Rahu is probably what's giving them that sense of not, achieving there. And then we have already highlighted how much enlightenment, liberation, moksha, freedom is emphasized in this chart as a possible purpose path. And I just want to also highlight that Venus with Ketu, as well as what we spoke about, that can give us a lack of satisfaction with the material world. It can also really open the heart to universal love, because Ketu is our heart in some ways. And with Venus, and as it's the Ascendant Lord, there is this invitation as Saturn comes online as the Dasha Lord, and our purpose and our activation, the 10th house, begin to tell the main story of our life. I wonder what may come for this person in devoted universal love, sharing a love with all that is purposeful and meaningful, inspiring. So I could definitely see that with the moksha indications in the chart, with these liberation indicators in the chart and Ketu Venus, the person may have the opportunity to do something quite spiritual, and quite the opportunity to spread love. We must notice that the First Lord is in the 6th house, so could be something health related, could be something nutrition related. We've also got Exalted Mars there, ruler of the 12th house, where Saturn, the Lord of Purpose, is. So something, perhaps retreats, in something healing, spiritual, in a retreat setting, because we notice that the 4th Lord, the Sun, is in the 8th house, also a moksha house. So what this person finds inspiring might involve their property in the Sun, or our property in the Sun, there might be some kind of retreat, care, giving, healing place in the Sun for this person, where their Ketu heart can express this universal devotion. So here we have some themes from a chart. If you found that interesting, if you're a Taurus Ascendant, you can share with me your thoughts about that. And if you are interested in your own chart, and perhaps it has some of these complex push and pull, argy-bargy tensions in the chart, you might be interested in how we can weave that together in this hero's journey. Astrology can really help us come to peace with the cards that we've been dealt, as we see laid out here, the different energies and the tensions that they pull us in. And so that is something that I really enjoy, is working with people on the narrative that they're telling themselves, and how astrology can help us just objectify that narrative a little bit more, line it up a bit more with the objective energies, rather than perhaps how we've taken it from the traumas that we've experienced. Astrology can help, pull it back to a more objective place that is empowering, as we see where our path is developing. Wonderful to spend time with you, and I look forward to seeing you next time we get together. I'll see you then.